Welcome to SUP, the Scope Unmuzzled podcast, episode 21. And this time we are in a new season, season 2. We have a new avatar, we have new guests. We have actually a new guest twice over here. And we have our recurring guest, Bovis, who is on the right. And we are going to talk a bit more about our new guest twice because he's living on a boat. And there's actually a boat in the background, as you can see. Very aptly picked map. So we're going to talk about him living on a boat, a bit about himself. We're going to talk about the scam he was almost in and some other unrelated stuff that's going to happen throughout the podcast as per usual. So without any further ado, I would like to start the podcast and get this train wreck of a show on the road. Welcome to the podcast. So as I said, we have now two guests on our couch. We have Twice, which is our new guest on the left here. And then we have Bovis here on the right. There we go. And as we already know who Bovis is, he's already been on the podcast before, actually, on a previous episode with Koopsie. I don't recall the number. That's been quite a while. But we are actually going to give Twice a little break on the introduction because we are going to do a small introduction first. Just to get the people to know a bit about you, and then we'll dive deeper into the main topic, which is your boat Twice. You're going to try and sell it to us. That's not true. Okay. So let's actually start with Bovis. Bovis, could you give a small introduction of yourself for the people who have not seen the other episode?
Yeah, I don't know if I gave an introduction to the other one. I'm Bovis. What sums me up?
Hi.
I'm British.
Loves his caffeine.
Oh fuck! This is too. Oh Jesus!
You can already tell.
Oh, there's so much pressure.
Yeah, you can
there's so much pressure here.
Yeah. As you can see, this podcast is not scripted.
I like animals. I like conservation. And I want to, I'm trying to work on it. That's me.
Nice. So what's your age? Like, what do you do in your free time?
What? That's a bit personal. No, I'm 20.
It's like a dating profile, actually.
I'm 23. Yeah. In my free time, I like to either stress about what I'm going to be doing all day and then accomplish nothing, or I'll very occasionally get distracted and play either keyboard or do gymnastics.
Oh,
fun.
Nice. What's your greatest fear?
No.
Spiders.
No. We're not doing that. We're not doing. This is not something you should tell, by the way. You should not tell people this, by the way.
Dying alone.
Okay. Well, that's.
I don't like spiders.
Spiders also need, someone to accompany themselves with. So, they also need a buddy. You can be friends with a spider.
They mate for life, actually. Although there's a lot of spiders, the female will usually eat the male after they've, finished.
So yeah, technically they mate for life.
So this is why you're single. Like is that what you're saying?
Are you saying that I eat women? Are you to call me a cannibal?
Wait.
Was it the other way around? You said.
Am I the one getting eaten in this situation? Actually, that doesn't sound so bad.
Well, you're not a spider.
Anyway, so I digress.
Could go either way.
Could be either way, yeah. Anyway, so that is Bovis. Let's now actually dive into Twice. Twice, had some kind of example, I guess, of how you can introduce yourself. I'm not saying that's how you should introduce yourself, but you can give it a shot.
Hello, I'm Twice. I'm 36. I'm in New Zealand right now, but originally from the UK. I like the outdoors, exploring. I like when things are a loop, like if you go around and you don't have to go back the same way. Mm-hmm. And then I like cooking. Cooking's pretty good. And I'm curious where technology's going, and how it.
What's your best dish? I'm curious about that.
Well, I bought the MSG recently, so the best dish is whatever I pour MSG into and then add noodles to. It's like magic.
I see.
Cooking powder. Yeah.
Wait, I'm a boomer. What is MSG? What?
It's monosodium glutamate. It's it's in a lot of Asian food. But it's you can just get it as like a powder. It's like a
Yeah,
flavor
it makes food like addictive. I'm pretty sure it's in like Pringles or like is literally like that's why like it's so addicting.
It's normally you see it as E622 or something on the flavor ingredients. They don't say MSG. And like a while ago, people freaked out about it because everyone was like, "It sounds scary," but it's naturally in like meats and stuff that has a lot of protein. So we're like really sensitive to like its taste, and it tells us like, "Oh, that's really good. You should eat that." But if you have the powder, you can just add it to salad and be like, "Oh my god, meat salad! No, no, no."
Well, that is something interesting I didn't expect to hear in this podcast. But yeah, that's pretty cool. Probably not the most healthiest thing, I would say, if it's that addicting.
Like you shouldn't have too much of it. Apparently, people get headaches if you have like way too much. But it's not that dangerous. It's like not unhealthy. It seems like.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, it's the same with everything. Too much of anything will
actually
give
a
you fuck you up.
cooking show now.
Yeah, we are cooking now, guys.
Ooh.
No, who's going to be cooking
tofu
during this podcast is at least twice about his, the main topic that we're going to discuss, which is this person actually doesn't live on land. He's a sea creature who lives deep under the sea. It's not SpongeBob, but it's twice. No, he lives on a boat. And that's kind of weird because there's a lot of questions accompanied with that. But could you tell a bit about how this came to be? How did you, stray from the lands and actually go out in the sea and then inhabit it on a boat?
I think it started, I watched some cartoon, maybe like
SpongeBob?
I can't remember, but the story was like space pirates, and they would like go around in these spaceships, and I thought I always thought having my own spaceship would be really great, but that's like very unfeasible. But if you get like a sailboat, it's basically like a really affordable spaceship that's held together with like glue and string and like bits of fabric, so it's like much more doable. And then, but I could never really like get this working. Like in the UK, it's really hard to like find somewhere to put the boat, and like it was all really expensive. But when I came to New Zealand, here in this city in Auckland, there's like a abandoned boat problem. Like they're just like, I guess people get them and then they get old and like no one knows whose boat it is and they can't be bothered to sort it out. So I found one that like was pretty big. It was like 48 foot, almost 50 foot long, and like 2 masts, big, good looking boat, loads of like barnacles on it and like moss just growing on the deck. And I was like, man, no one has been on this for fucking ages. So I saw that it had like stickers from the harbor master, so I knew that they were gonna probably like tow it away and destroy it. So one night I like snuck on board because I wanted to find out who the owner was, and I technically became a pirate for a short time because I was like going through all the paperwork on board, and then I found this guy, and then I found his brother, and his brother was like, "Oh yeah, call this number, but he won't answer the phone unless you text first." So I had to be like, "Hey, like, I found your boat. It's got the stickers. Do you want it anymore?" And he was like, "No, I don't want it. You can have it if you send me like $2,000 for like the mooring." So I met this guy. He was like super sketchy. I think he was on the run from debt collectors or something. And he signed some stuff over and gave me like this really old bit of equipment that was meant for in the boat. And I was like, cool, I guess I own it now. And then I lived on that for like 2 years. That's when I first got in VR. I was on that boat.
How do you start out living on a boat? Like, did you not have your own stuff? Like, do you just like, were you in the harbor just like living there for 2 years, or how did that happen?
It coincided really well with a breakup. So I like had all my stuff in my car basically because I'd left, and like half my stuff was in my ex-partner's house, and then the rest was in this like shitty car that I bought. And then I was like, it was in a really bad like situation. But then I had this boat, and I was like, oh my god, I got like a whole apartment. It's like smells funny a little bit, but and then I cleaned it, and it stopped smelling funny, and it had like a hot shower, and I was like, man, what?
Did you actually then stay in there for 2 years in the harbor, or did you actually go out on sail to another place or another location?
It was a little bit broken. So it was up a river on they call it like a mooring. So it was just a rope that went into the water. And so it took me a bit of confidence to first take it off the rope. Actually, it went really fucking wrong, like the first time I took it off. But I wanted to fix like some things before I went adventuring. And then the first time I took it out was just when COVID was starting and like the lockdown was going to come into place. But I had like 2 days to like put extra food on the boat, and then I was like, I don't want to be in a big city when like the plague comes, because we didn't know how bad it was going to be or anything, and I thought maybe society was going to collapse. I was like, I'm heading out. This is freaking intense. I know the boat doesn't work, like the motor wouldn't start, but I was like, it's a sailboat, that's fine. I can just really sketchily sail out. There was all these other boats around it that I had to like dodge around, even though I'd never steered it before ever. And a lot of things like weren't really working, like the controls for the sails were like not how I would want them set up, and the anchor couldn't go down. So when I first left, I had no way of stopping. It was just like I had to fix the anchor like en route to this island that's about half a day's sail away, and then that's where I spent lockdown, and so I had it out. Yeah.
Wait, so how did you actually learn how to sail? Or like, I don't think can you buy a boat without knowing how to, operate one?
It depends on the country. Like here you can, like here they're basically like big bicycles. So there's no there's no restriction on you. I think you can even get like a really big boat and still just class it as like a personal one. And then I'm not sure how the insurance works, but like I think the insurance is the only thing that will get you. And then you don't have to have insurance here. You can just like try not to hit things.
Wait, what do you mean you don't have to have? You mean you don't need it if you don't hit things, or is it legally required?
It's a bad idea.
Either way.
No, it's not legally required.
Things,
It's the same as like in the UK, like you need to have insurance for your car, but here you don't actually have to have insurance for your car. So if you they've set it up so you can just go for it.
That doesn't sound very convincing, but that actually is pretty good. I guess if people want to find like a very cheap home, they could go to like New Zealand and then just buy one of these old boats, kind of like renovate it.
Yeah, or Florida, like where the cyclones come. There always seems to be cheap boats, like the ones that get a little bit fucked up from the cyclone. You can get those ones and just like patch them and then float them again. Those ones are really cheap.
Wait, so
is a cheap boat what you want to look for? Like, I don't know. If you're gonna take something out into the ocean, I'm like, do you want to go for like, whatever's cheapest? Yeah, fuck yeah, man. I mean, it sounds fun, but I'm like,
you want it to be good. You don't want a bad boat, but like you can, like the older ones, they make the hulls thicker, so in many ways they're better for like ocean stuff.
I've actually seen a video of like a guy that bought like an Italian yacht or like a small yacht, whatever, a boat, and then over winter, you do need to make sure that it can survive it. So you need to run like a small heater, or like stuff will get frozen over in like the engine compartment or like in the boat itself, and then it can expand or contract and then cause havoc in your boat. Is it something you also do?
Yeah. I'm lucky here in that it doesn't really freeze. It only gets to like 1 or 2 degrees. So like it's pretty easy. Like in the North Island. If I was further south, it would be colder. Actually, one of the ideas I had to fund all of this was like make a fake flat Earth research vessel, and then sail like south on like a flat Earth science mission to like investigate the ice wall to see if there's like a way of going that, because you can just go south. Like I could sail to Antarctica. There's nothing technically that stops me. It would just be like a really terrible idea.
It's your own conscience is actually stopping you.
Yeah.
That might actually be for the better. Who knows? Wait, so how did you actually then learn how to operate this boat? Like, did you get this from like your parents, or did some friend teach you, or did you just look up a YouTube video how to operate a boat? I don't know.
Yeah, like, well, when I grew up in Scotland, there was a lake nearby, or loch, that had all this like poisonous seaweed algae in it, so you couldn't really go in the water. But they did do like dinghy sailing. So I grew up like racing these little plastic little boats, like dinghies. And then if you have a bigger boat, it's kind of exactly the same, except all the like little ropes that you were pulling, now you have to like put them on a winch and like tick, 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 tick. But most of the other stuff is kind of exactly the same, except you have a radio.
Interesting. But one thing I did wonder about though is like, so I assume you also register your location, or like there's some kind of, location you need for postal and stuff. How does that work when you're on the boat? Like if you have your, I don't know, your taxes, maybe like everything now is online, so you don't really need that. But I know that a lot of people need a location to register at the government as well, to like, okay, I'm a citizen of this city or whatever.
Yeah.
How does that work?
So I used like a mix of friends and like the yacht club. So that there was near where my bit of string was like a pier, and they had like a building with like where I could put my little boat, because you need like a little dinghy to like get to the big boat. Otherwise you have to swim there, and that's like kind of a pain in the ass. You have to swim there when someone steals your little boat, and then the only way to get home is to like either like flag someone down and be like, hey, can you give me a lift to my boat? But if there's no one around, you just have to like swim home. It's like the nighttime and cold.
Wait, so this yacht club or whatever is able to like put down like your information, and that's where your postal will get delivered?
Yeah, they had like a little office, so I could deliver a post there.
Oh.
How many times have you had to swim to your boat before? Is it you saying
one,
this is like
one time? Yeah.
How long did you have to swim?
It was like a 20-minute swim, I guess.
Fucking hell, man.
Yeah,
That's really threw me off, man.
But how
Are
does
you just like, shit, I can't get to the boat? So, I'm sorry, Scott, I'm really interested in this. Are you really just like, oh, fuck. How long did it take you to decide, fuck it, I need to swim? Like, was it quite a quick decision? Or was it like, I don't want to do this?
No, it's a good day out.
If it was colder, it would have been a longer decision. Yeah. It was, so it's never really that cold here. And like, I'm used to Scotland where it's like ice,
Oh, yeah.
So it didn't seem that bad, and I was like, I'm tired, I want to go to sleep. The only thing that's stopping me from going to sleep is this body of water, and like I was like, my phone's waterproof, it's gonna be fine. I'll just head out, change clothes straight away, warm up, because I had like heating on board, so I could flick this button and it would be like blasting me with hot like air from this heater, and I was like, well, that sounds good, I'll go there.
I have a pleasant experience waiting for me on the ship, so might as well.
Yeah. You just focus on that, and then you're like, okay, horrible, muddy water, ignore this.
This didn't happen. I'm not here. There's no monster in the water. There's no sharks. There's nothing dangerous that's gonna happen. There's not gonna be any cramps along the way. I'll be fine. Right. What a decision.
I'm now more confused. How the fuck do you play VR on a boat then? How does the Wi-Fi work? Like, I'm actually really thrown off.
Where are you now? Actually, that's a good question.
Okay. So now I'm in like a shared house that a bunch of us like use sometimes.
Okay, this is a fraud, guys. We need this change. No. We need someone on the actual boat. No, just kidding.
So I lived on that first boat for like 2 years. And then in the winters, what I would do is I would like move into this apartment like that I just temporarily rented and live there for a bit, because it had like heating and you could actually like, I don't know, have a bit more space. And then I sold that boat and then used the money to like travel around the world for like 7-8 months. And then when I got back, the boat that was like 2 bits of string down from the first boat, like I'd always looked at it and it was also abandoned, I guess. And then I figured out who the owners were of this, and they couldn't sell it. No one wanted it because like the motor wouldn't start and like no one could do a hull survey. But I was like, yeah, that looks really good. It looks better than my last one. So I gave them like a really low offer, and the lady, she wanted to talk to me for like days and days. So we went on this weird like nostalgic journey through all her paperwork and stuff. And I was like, oh my God, I hope you're just not wasting my time. But she ended up selling it to me for like a real low amount of money. It was good.
It almost sounded like she would want to get like emotional value out of it. It's like, I've lived in this boat for many years across the sea, seen all these journeys. And then it's like, it's very emotional, has like a very high emotional value. And then so it'd be like, yeah, that'll be like 5,000 or 10,000, please. Thank you.
Yeah, totally. The thing, I didn't expect this with getting boats. I thought it would be like buying a car kind of, but that when you get it, you find suddenly all the stories about it come out of the woodwork, and these random people will come up to you and be like, oh, I remember that boat. We had this, we were like here, and there was this big storm, and the guy who you bought it from, he was like sailing out, so I followed him through the storm, but like I didn't realize it was made of this thicker material, so he was okay, but I was kind of getting fucked up, and like it's wild. Like one of my boats had a web page that I didn't even know about.
Like a Wikipedia page?
And no, it had like, there was a fan club for that type of boat, and it had its whole history, and so there's a whole like bit about its adventures with me on this random webpage about that one model of boat. It's really weird.
But that sounds, well, it makes sense because boats are like really old, probably compared to cars nowadays. Like boats you keep for, I don't know, like centuries. Was it, or like, I don't know, like 50 years at least. And then some, there's a lot of stories, a lot of progress that gets done on the boat. Maybe some things change, or some stuff that gets broken down. But it's really like a journey thing to have a boat. With a car, it's usually like, oh, I'm gonna go to my job. I was gonna go to A to B and like to the grocery store or whatever. And that's the only thing really you do with a car. So you don't get any real emotional value out of it. With a boat, I could see it's like, well, you can live there, of course, but you can also sail to places, go see some shores, some islands, and these kind of things. So yeah, it would make sense to have more stories revolved around each boat. But I'm not sure, how long do you think like a person owns a boat for, like typically? Like I have no clue about this.
Maybe 5 years or something seems like normal. Listen, my boat is from the 70s, so it's like 50 years old or something. And then through that time, it's had like, there was a Christian community found it half built. So someone I don't even know like built it and then gave up, and then a bunch of Christians living on an island found that boat. And then they like didn't have the resources, but they were like, oh, God will figure it out. So they bought it, and then they used divine wisdom to like finish it, which they did a really good job actually. That like, and then the guy I bought it from, he like got it from the Christians. So it's had like 4 owners over like 50 years, maybe 10 years. I don't know.
One thing I do also wonder though is, how do you actually like, because I was talking about like if you have a car, you go from like A to B, for example, to your job. How do you work if you live on a boat?
Depends what you're doing. Like I know people who they live on board and they commute. So they they have like a kayak, and they kayak to the shore, and then they have their car parked there. So they change into their car, and then if you have your car there, you like have the nice clothes in the car, so you change, and then you go in your car to like work like normal. The one thing that's strange is in some cities, like here, luckily, you can like anchor your boat really, really close to the city. Like there's like downtown area, and there's water there. So like there's a bit of the water they don't let you stop in, because that's for like the ferries and for the big boats to go. But then just next to it, there's a bit where they're like, whatever, we don't care. So you can just park there and then leave your whole boat and then just kayak to the side, and you're like right in downtown. And it's like incredibly convenient, but also weirdly not convenient, because you suddenly like have a kayak and you're trying to like chain it to like a fence or something, but the tide's going up and down. So it's kind of like a pain in the ass, but also easy.
It's like a kayak is like the land equivalent of like a bicycle or something. Like walking would be like swimming, right?
Fuck, you don't get out your fucking car and immediately whip the bike out and be like, well, in fact, never mind. No, you're fucking where you live. Fair enough. I'm thinking I'm too British for that. Well, nobody tries to fucking bite here, mate.
Oh, you should try like a folding bike in the back of your car is like such a game changer. You can just park wherever the fuck you want. I think I am. And then unfold your bike and then be like, oh, fuck you, society.
I think behind the times. It does sound good.
No, good.
I'm not, honestly now.
Yeah,
I'm convinced myself in just almost I want to argue against it. I've already. Like, never mind.
He's sold. He's sold now. Yeah. No, you're talking to a Dutch person, Bovis. So yeah, we do have bikes here. Although, granted, as a Dutch person, I don't ride a bicycle very often, or like the last couple of years, not really at all. I just use my car for everything. It's either I walk, so it's like walkable distance, or it's a bit too far off to carry shit. And it's like, okay, I'm just gonna use the car. Like it's too much of a convenient thing.
Nothing like that in the UK, bro.
No, I can't imagine that. Yeah.
If you ride a bike, you're a wanker here, and that's what people think. It's just like you're on the side of the road, you're in the fucking way. You got to get around them. It's just like fucking hell, man. You know. I feel bad because when I'm driving, I get angry at them. They're not doing anything wrong. They're trying to, you know, they're doing an environmentally friendly way of getting around. You know, fair play to them. But when they're in front of us, I'm like, fucking hell, move out the fucking way, dickhead. You know what I mean?
Is it kind of like? It's like looking at someone that's like showing off. It's like, you know, he's like exercising, you know, he's getting good health and it's like actually good for the environment. Fit. So he's actually projecting like a healthy status that I don't have. So I hate this guy or something. Is that the reason to hate cyclists in the UK?
It's something like that, I think. There's some unconscious bias. It's mainly like, I think it's just from my parents. So it's my dad. He despises cyclists. Every time in a car, he's like actual, like almost like fist shaking levels, like bloody cyclists.
Well, if you're in the car and there's bikes, suddenly you have to do this like sketchy sort of thing to get around them, and it's like a bit stressy because the roads are all windy and little. So it's like. If it was a slow car, you'd also be pissed at them. But because they're bikes, and you're like, well, do you really need to be there? What are you doing? Are you poor?
Yeah, it's like the path is. We are not built like the lads is.
I don't know.
We're very much built for roads, and that's about it.
Yeah, no, I get exactly what you mean because we have that here as well, especially in like the big cities. Well, the big cities is just like it's just a force of nature. Like you cannot stop it. It's like these cyclists going around everywhere. It's like. I'm just gonna let them pass. It's like I cannot get past all of these cyclists, and because they outnumber cars in big cities at least. You're just gonna go around them, wait for them. It's like there's no reason to really get mad at them because there's just no point. Like you're not gonna win that anyway. If it's like in a rural area or a rural road or whatever, and they like cycle there, well, there's like a bike lane or I don't know. They're just like. There's not much traffic there anyway. It is annoying to just like weave past bicycles a lot, especially if there's like other cars coming along. But yeah, we here in the Netherlands, it doesn't make sense really to hate bicyclists. Although I especially get the appeal if you're driving a car. Like it's just annoying sometimes, or they just think, and I think that's the biggest part. Maybe that's the UK thing as well. So where a lot of cyclists will be thinking like, oh, I'm the king of the road. Like I used to kind of be in that position when I was like a teen, and I just drive my bicycle everywhere. It's like, oh, I can easily just go in front of this car or whatever. He's just gonna stop anyway. It's like, oh, it's kind of the mindset that I guess people have. But there's also these like hardcore cyclists, like people that actually do it for like the little what's it called? Like the running bikes, the ones for actual like sports. Those kind of people will just not care at all, and they just hate cars. I even had one time actually where I was just like on a off ramp from like a store. There's like a store. There's a you need to go left or right, but you need to give a right of way to both sides. So there's also a cycling lane on the little off ramp, and I'm like, okay, I need to see the cars from left and right. So I go stand in the middle of the cycling lane, whatever. And then people that are walking there with their dog, whatever, just like, oh, okay. It's like I walk around it. I walk behind it. And then there's this one cyclist who, or not, I'm not even sure it was a cyclist. I think it was just a runner. He just like saw my car on the middle of the path, and he's just like, fuck this car. And he just walked, almost into my car and started like slapping the roof and shit. I'm like, what the fuck do you want me to just walk around? And it's like, what the hell, man? And he was really angry. And like, I don't care. It's like, what are you going to do? I'm in a car. But yeah, cyclists also feel like that sometimes, where they just like don't care about other road users and they just go their own way. They go really fast. They don't give like signal which side they're going. Pretty fucking annoying. But you'll get used to it, Bovis. At least when you're here,
I've never actually had anything that like a big negative experience with it. It's just unconscious.
It's just
bias
inherited. Yeah,
I have zero reason. I'm sure they're all lovely people, but I just I just wouldn't dare. I won't find out because I'm not going to fucking speak to them.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm not going to stoop to that level.
Have you actually been on the? Have you been on a boat yourself, Bovis?
I ferried when we came over to Netherlands. I've been the ferry. If I was to visit you, to visit you, go to Amsterdam.
It's not.
In fact, that was when we all went. Same. That's a big boat. What do you mean? It's a boat.
Well,
it goes across the water. Well,
there's gambling.
I love that trip.
There's alcohol.
That is the exact reason why I enjoyed it. I'm not gonna lie. There was a casino on board. It was a live one. They were doing like live. I think it was blackjack. It's nice and simple. I lost a lot of money. I'm not gonna lie, but I was drunk. I was having fun. I was on my holidays. I was in holiday mode. I was like, yeah, fuck yeah, oh yeah, sure. They get you with the last. It's always the last bet. Like, oh, I'm leaving now. Last bet. I'm like, oh, I'm going all in.
Yeah. It always surprises me. I forget every time that, like, if you go on one of those international ferries, they like get slightly away from the land, and they're like, guess what, guys? There's no rules anymore. Freaking, they take the cloth off, and they're like, okay, everyone's gonna be strippers, and there's like blackjack, and there's hookers now. It's just like, whoa.
Well,
okay, my ferry
at
was
least
quite
piano.
like that.
What I've actually never got. So I've also been on a ferry like that, like an international one, going from like Denmark to Norway and back. Is why do they have gambling on board of boats like that, like ferries? Like, I get it. Like, I had to pay for the fucking internet because there's no internet signal out on the sea. So you have to either pay for the ferry's Wi-Fi, or whatever, or just, suck it up, look at content you downloaded before. But I can imagine that people will be very bored on a ferry, especially if it takes a long time. But I don't gamble, so I don't fucking know. But what's the appeal of going to like a, casino on board of a ferry? Is it just to, quench your boredom?
Yeah, because you're kind of in this shopping center mall situation. So you're like, well, I've got like a day or almost like 24 hours or something to like just exist in this weird, like, small little society. So you're like, well, I'm just gonna look at every possible thing. I can't eat right now because they just went to the buffet. So you're like, cinema, and it's like shaking and waving. You're like, no. Like, and then there's like hot girls in this like little area. You're like, let's go and let's. What is that? That looks interesting.
What's the ferries that you are going on? So what is this, man?
I feel like we could have skipped that entire part, and it would have been like there's hot girls there, so that's the reason. I feel like that was the kind of the end of that story.
No, I just had a bunch of people sleeping.
Yeah, I mean, it's we I don't think we already slept when I went on, but for us it was the three of us. We were going on holiday. We at that point, you're in your holiday mood, so you're not thinking as much about money. You kind of just like, I'm here for fun. Yeah, well, why? Oh, maybe that's just. I assume that's not just a British thing, but immediately anyone that Brit goes on holiday, like, oh fuck it, money doesn't matter anymore. It doesn't count. It's not my. But yeah, we just saw that. Had a few pints, as you do. Saw a casino, corner of my eye. It's like a glowing light in the darkness. You like after a few pints, I'm like, fuck yeah, let's go. And they bring drinks to the table as well. It's beautiful. You can't go wrong. Well, you can, but you
can definitely go very wrong with casino. Yeah, not actual advice, by the way.
Yeah, I was going to do not. Probably don't do this unless you're financially stable too.
We don't condone gambling.
And don't take financial
Unless the
advice
girls
from
are
us.
really hot.
If you got no other option, put it all in black. Put all your fucking money, sell everything, put it all in black. You never know. You never know. You know,
Well, actually,
95% of gamblers quit just before the big break.
speaking of financial decisions and bad ones, actually, this ties into the other topic I had prepared twice, which is
what a segue.
yeah, what a segue. I still got it, guys.
Wow, that was smooth.
Yeah. So the other topic is because you told me this recently, I didn't know, is you almost got scammed. Almost. And
I
there's
did.
some stuff involved
Almost.
around crypto and whatever. Could you tell us what happened and maybe prepare the future generations looking at this? Probably not, but whatever. the people watching this, like,
So
what happened with your scam?
We're fucked.
Yeah. Probably. Yeah.
There's no preparation, but like I was looking for work, and I do software stuff, and these people, like, I'd done a bunch of updates. Like, this little bot came online and was like, oh, some of your repos in GitHub are out of date. Like, I've changed the image size on all of them. Push here to like update the images. So I accepted like maybe 20 pull requests that were just automated from this little bot. But it was enough to like bump my profile up to like recent activity, lots of stuff or whatever. And then that meant that I got in touch, that someone got in touch with me on my email and was like, hey, we're building this thing, this project. It's like privacy YouTube meeting thing, which is like vaguely my skill set. And they were like, yeah, we're looking for someone with exactly your skill set to like join this team, and it's like contract. Are you available? And I was like, yeah, I'm looking for some hours. All normal recruitment sort of stuff. And then they eventually arranged like an interview, and it's like in this Telegram group. And I'm like, yeah, all right, a Telegram group, sure. And they like, I join in, and they're like, oh yeah, this is like, I'm head of product, I'm like the owner, like I'm like in charge of marketing or something. They all had like legitimate roles, and they were like, oh, I before this I worked on this startup, sent me a link to that. I had a little look at it all to like learn about them so I could do better in the interview, kind of. And it all looked like pretty legit. Like they all had but they were linking to other people's profiles, I think, at this point, which was trick one. And there was no tie-in back to their Telegram user. It just looked like a good connection. And then they posted like a Google document that was like, oh, just put a bit of your experience and like stuff in here and let us know when it's filled out. So I filled out this whole thing. It had a thing about like, oh, what's your Ethereum address? So I put one of my most used Ethereum addresses in there, and it was still, I still wasn't.
What? It's asking for your Ethereum address? So like a crypto address?
Yeah.
Why?
So this is like,
that's not how I get paid normally at a job. I'm not sure. I don't know if the IRS is watching, but just saying. Taxes, I pay all of
like in this sort of space, it's not that unusual. Like they just wanted to like verify that I'd done some crypto stuff, I guess. So it's safe to like give someone your address, and then they can look at the history of all of your like activity on that thing and all the, I don't know, the Neopets or the token NFT bullshit that you have.
Neopets.
So I was like, this still makes sense, but really what they wanted to do is they wanted to know if I had any crypto and was worth like hunting for. And then they carried on with this interview, and the thing that made me suspicious is like, it was all in text, but I was like, maybe they're like Crypto Valley kids, you know, maybe this is like how they want to do it now. And then they were like, oh, this is great. Like, you found a really good person. They were all talking to each other about how great I was. And I was like, man, I fucking aced this interview. Holy shit. Like, and they'd run me through like problem scenarios and what I would do and how much time it would take and like all this stuff. And they were like, right, it sounds great. We'll put you in touch with someone from HR. They're not ready right now, but they'll be ready in 10 minutes. They're just with some other people right now. I'm like, sure. And then they were vaguely connected to Google, so I was just assuming they would do it in Hangouts. But they instead wanted me to install like a build of this like privacy video conferencing app that they were allegedly making. And I was like, oh yeah, hold on. It says it's like Mac or PC only, but I'm running on Linux right now, so I can't run this. Can we just do it on Hangouts? And they were like, no, you got to do it on this. And I was like, I'm not super, I didn't say this aloud, but I was like, I'm not super excited about running like something that I can't see the source code for on one of those things. So I joked with them that I was like, I'll spin up a virtual machine to like have Windows on so I can run this thing. And they were like, oh no, it doesn't work in virtual machines. You've got to run it on the real thing. And then by now I'm like 50% suspicious. And then, then I was like, oh, I should start collecting all their details. So I got all their like account details and just put it in this big like list so I could report them if it was wrong. And then I confronted them. I was like, do you have any more fake accounts that you want to add to the chat? And immediately they like blocked me from the chat and they were like, blah, 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 trying to delete as much as possible. So scatter. And I was like, you fuckers. I'd like done a day of prep and like I even like trimmed up my beard to like look better. I was like, they fucking
for what? For a texture? Wait, hold on. What? what is?
Well, I thought it was going to be a video. It's normally a video conference, right? Like, but these guys didn't want to do video.
I thought for a second you were like, I'm gonna look cool trying to bust these guys. I'm just gonna make sure I shave my beard in case like the police wants to like fetch the list physically, whatever.
Man, I got a scam story as well, but it's on the other fucking side of the spectrum as Twice's. See, he's got his head screwed on. He knows what he's doing.
Uh-huh.
He knows what's up.
Wait, before we go to that, maybe we should first say like what could be learned from this lesson before we go to yours, Bovis.
Go on, Twice. Yeah. Not learn from mine.
I guess so. I think in this one, I was talking to one person that just had like maybe 5 accounts, and they were backing everything up really realistically, but it seemed a bit too good to be true. So if anything seems a bit too good to be true, start like double checking it. And then there's no way yet of them faking like a video call without it being super weird and glitchy. So like verifying that things are real with a video conference, it's like it's marginal still. So I don't know
experiences with alleged scammers. I've never really like got them, but they were very sketchy to the point where like I was like trying to find out like if they're real or not. And there's one actually where there was like a face or like a video call, but it was like, I don't know, like 10 seconds, like 15 seconds, like, oh, something's up with the connection or whatever. And it could have just been like a video, right? Because there's no real interaction going on. So that could actually be the case. So that is not really trustworthy, I would say.
Yeah, true. And also, even if it vaguely works now, in like 1 or 2 years, it's not going to work anymore. Like where they're going to have deep fake video be easily available. Definitely. So that's kind of out. The other thing that was sort of saving me was like, you get to choose if you download and run something on your computer, and then on Windows it's going to come up with this big thing that says like, do you want to have this like do whatever the fuck it wants? Like at that point you've got to be like, wait, who made this? Can I see the source code of what this was? Why does it need administrator access? All these questions have got to be like a little bit in your mind, and if it's like sus the reason for it to be there, then like just a little bit freak out about it and just trust your instincts.
I think actually your advice to run it in like a virtual machine, like if you're that tech savvy, that would probably be a good idea.
Yeah. That is a good idea.
Like if you're not, if it seems somewhat legit and you're not really sure, that's at least a safe bet to run it on, because then the machine.
Or you can ask them. You can be like, "Oh, I'm going to run it in a VM," and if they're weird about that, then you can be like, "Okay, that's an extra layer of like, what the fuck? Why?"
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, fair enough, man. Maybe I've learned something today as well. That's good. That's good.
See, that's what we're for. We can learn stuff on a podcast, or we can just laugh at people having a miserable time getting scammed. Bovis, actually, did you get scammed? I'm not sure.
I fully legitimately got like, it was the most like, blatant fucking shit you will ever hear as well. It's like it was so obvious, but I was just stupid. So the main context is this is This is my first year of university. At this point, I'm hitting the stoner phase. And I'm like, oh, yeah.
There we go.
And and before this, I think it was over some holiday. Before this, my neighbor, he fucking totally dealt to me. It was great. The guy that was literally right next door to me, it worked out so well.
That's
so
dangerously
everyone goes
convenient,
away for holidays. It was dangerously convenient. Yeah, it was terrifying. He lived in America, so he had like a way long holiday. I come back from the holidays. I'm in my flat. I'm like, oh fuck, man. I want to smoke. What's the best way? So I start literally so I don't even know. I'll start googling it. I'm like, I think you put in Google how to buy weed in the UK. I was like, there's gonna be no answer to this. I was like, there's gonna be. See, this shows how how fucking just out of. I don't know how anything shit works, man. I was just like, I was young. I said I was young. This was like 4 or 5 years ago, maybe. So it was not that long ago. I was 18, 19. And I was like, okay. I found this Reddit thread, and it's like, oh, big place you go on Instagram. And you search kind of like, oh, like green. And I was like, in your area. And there's like posts, and like it'll be in the comments of a bunch of posts. I was like, oh, perfect. I was like, oh, I found one. Great. I was like, I DM this guy. He's like immediately responds. And he's like, yeah. Oh, he's like, perfect, cool. He's like, I was talking it through. He's like, I'll bring it straight to your house. I was like, oh shit, this is so easy. I was like, oh my god, great. I was like, I didn't really know how this worked, but I was like, this sounds perfect. I was like, no problem. So we get it. So I was like, yeah, I give him my address immediately and everything. I'm like, yeah, this is our address. This is where I live. You gotta drop it off here. In fact, no. I didn't give him my address first. He immediately started asking, he's like, oh, because we need to keep it secure. He's like, okay, do you use like Bitcoin? I was like, oh, I don't have Bitcoin. I don't know how to use any of this. I was like, I don't really know how to do this. He's like, oh, it's okay. Well, you can use like a gift voucher instead. That can't be traced. I was like, oh, brilliant, no problem. I can nip down to the shop. Yeah, he's like, okay, so will you take like a £50 Steam voucher? And I was like, oh, perfect. There's a corner shop. I was like, I could go get that, no problem. I was like,
you can pay me in Fortnite skins, yeah.
So I get it, and I'm like, right, I've got this. How does it work now? He's like, do you need my address? I had to ask him. I was like, when do you want my address? Or like, where are you going to be able to drop it off? Like, how does this work? And he was like, oh yeah, just give me your address now, I guess, and I'll be there really soon. I was like, I know the area. I'll be there in like 20, 30 minutes. And I was like, wow, this is great. No problems at all. And I was like, so do I give you the gift voucher when you're here? And he was like, no. If you got to give me the code now. We've got to check if it's real. And at this point, I really should have put 2 and 2 together and been like, maybe I shouldn't do this. But I was also just like, I was young, and I'm gonna be honest, I just really wanted to smoke at that time. And I was like, fuck. I was like, yeah. I didn't know any other options. I didn't know who to ask. And I was just like, fuck it. I don't know how these dealings work. It's shady dealings. It's under the table stuff. Maybe this is how it works. This makes sense to me. I was like, you know what? Yeah, sure. I was like, all right, go on then. So I give him the code. I give it for a £50 Steam voucher. I give him the code, and he's just sort of like, and then there's like kind of 5 minutes past, nothing's happened. I was just like, okay, it's a bit weird, but it gets back to me, and they say, oh, this code hasn't worked. Are you sure it's the correct one? And I check. Oh yeah, it's the correct one. They're like, oh, how about you try? Have you got another one? Would you be able to try a different one? And I was just like, oh, at this point, they've kind of like, it was like, finally, I was like, oh no. I understand what I've done now.
I messaged the guy. They're like, how much can we milk the cow before it bites us?
Literally, man. I can't remember specifically. There was something he either said or did after that as well, and it made it really obvious. And I remember saying to him, I was like, I'm going to be honest, I've been really stupid to get to this point. But I was like, you said this, you shouldn't ever fucking say that. That ringing red bells. Like, what are you doing, man? I was like, what's going on? And he's just like, what do you mean? I'm messaging this guy, like, come on, bro. I was like, listen, it's all right.
Don't give him advice.
I can't do anything about it. I was like, I can't do anything about this now. Like, end of the day, you fucking got to go. I don't think I could do anything here. I could maybe report it, but I'm sure nothing's going to happen. So I was like, mate, what's that about? I was kind of like, yeah, come on, man. And he just stopped talking to me, and I was sad. I was like, I kind of wanted to talk to him and understand what was going on. He didn't want to talk to me anymore. I was just like, oh, well. And I was just like, I think I put at the end, I hope you know you've ruined my day.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
I'm sure he must have
maybe
felt
I'll
that
give him
one.
a guilt trip, but I'm like, I don't think he
when
did.
He's, like cashing out his Steam credits.
Yeah, maybe I didn't. Why is Steam? Did they sell them on, or did he just really want some Steam games? I don't know.
No, so I've heard this from a friend. There's like an actual like big fucking business going on with like vouchers and gift cards and whatever, where they basically use it to like launder money, kind of, because it is pretty much untraceable. And if you redeem the code, it's like, oh, the code is redeemed. It's like, oh, can you get the money back? It's like, no, it's redeemed. Like we cannot really do anything. And they sell it for like so basically like swindle this kind of shit out of people's hands, and then maybe sell it for like a lower price. So maybe let's say you pay £50 for a gift card from Steam. Someone says, "Oh, I can sell it to you for £40." It's like, "Oh, that sounds like a good deal." And then they can get like actual money, or they give a bunch of vouchers for a specific item or whatever. It's like trading for a product or whatever they want. Yeah, it's a very big lucrative like scam business, vouchers. So anytime you hear someone say something about those kind of vouchers to exchange that for money, probably just run. It's like, that's not like cold hard cash. That would be a better situation.
I haven't been scammed
though,
since.
Right?
That's
like
good.
Buying something illegal is like a tricky thing. Like I one time.
Gee, I wonder why. I wonder why that is.
And so I was in Thailand in Koh Phanang Beach, like the Full Moon Party Island, on the Full Moon Party Beach, and then I wasn't gonna buy anything because I was like, that's way too difficult. I'll drink, and there were people selling like the nitro balloons, so I was like, I'll do the nitrous balloons. That's fine, that's fun. But then there was like these guys spaced every like maybe 50 meters or 100 meters along the bit of the beach that was just a little bit like waves were splashing there. So no one was really walking there, and they were like away from the crowd. And I was like, oh, those are drug dealers, I can tell. And then one of them was like near me, and I was like, hey, hi, what are you selling? And he could speak English, and I was like, oh, and he was like, oh, you've got this? And I was like, oh, how much is this? And he said some numbers, but the money there is like a little bit confusing because you got to like multiply it down, and so even buying like cheese is a little bit complicated. But this stuff, it was a little bit expensive, but I was like, but it's less, and so I didn't really know what the numbers were. And then he like holds the bag open, and I like dipped my finger in, and then like I don't know what that was even proving, because it just tasted like the crazy taste it normally tastes like, and I didn't die. So I was like, well, okay, I guess that went well. Sure, I'll give you more. And then he like gets a different bag, like a tiny one, and then we exchange it, and then he like scurries off, and I scurry off, and I'm like, oh my god, I have no idea what this is. Fucking hell, let's go. And it was definitely mixed with something like chalk or something, but it was still all right. Yeah, 2 out of 10 would not really do again.
No. There's no
it
winning
could have
when it comes
ended
to
way worse,
buying
by the
illegal
way.
shit.
Yeah, it could have been a lot worse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
don't
yeah.
don't get
like
drunk. The problem I have, I make quite good decisions when I'm sober, and then as soon as I start like going down the slidey, slippery drunk slope, then I encounter a situation where it's like, oh, do you want to make this more fun and go further down the slide? And I'm like, sober twice would have said no, but drunk twice is like, sure, that sounds like a really appropriate thing to do in this. Let's go.
So I guess it's another advice to not drink while you are taking a sip from your drink. Is that it?
Yeah. Cheers to not drinking.
Cheers to that. I don't have my drink. It's on the other side.
Oh, I got anything left in my tea. Hang on. I may have some tea left. Yeah. I can do the animation kind of.
Drunk on here. That's not fair.
And that's why you have drunk people get on the podcast, because you get great stories of like getting scammed and how they got scammed and how to avoid it and actually learn something.
I'm not even drunk. I happily admit my story, so because it's not even a lesson to people, because 99% of people would have, at the point of asking for a gift voucher, probably would have been like, absolutely not.
Yeah, no.
I blame it on being young and naive again, even though it was 4 years ago, 5 years. But it's fine.
It's all right. You've learned from your
A
mistakes.
friend of mine on
hope.
Facebook Marketplace, she was buying this Bluetooth speaker, and she got in touch with me at the point where she was like, "Oh, I've sent the money to this guy called Logan, and now I think he's blocked me on Facebook." I was like, "Oh,
Facebook
you
Market is
have
notorious,
this speaker in your hands?" And she was like, "No, he said to come pick it up." And I was like, whoa. And then I was like, wait. Do you have his address or his phone number? And she was like, no, I don't have any of these things, but I do have his Facebook thing. And I was like, wait. I can find him on Facebook Marketplace, and I will ask about, because he had a bunch of bikes and shit. And I was like, oh, I want this bike. So I got in touch and I was like, I want to pay cash for this bike. Where should I meet you? And he gave a phone number and an address. And then, like, I gave my phone to my friend, and she was like, Logan, fuck you, it's me. I'm here. And then you blocked me. And then he was like, whoa, there's two of them. Oh my God. And they're like, and then he tried to block me, but we already had his address. And so my friend was like, oh, we should go there. And I was like, wait. I've seen true crime stuff. We should not go there, because that's where the dangerous people are, and they probably don't even have any of this stuff. And then she was like, no, I'm gonna go there. And I was like, I had to talk her down and be like, no, this is like, it's like a $20 Bluetooth speaker. you like, versus your life, like, you don't want to. So we went to the police, and I was like convinced the police weren't going to do anything, but it was the cute New Zealand police. And I was like, oh, we've got this phone number for this guy. He's like scamming. He's got all these bikes and stuff. And the lady in the police station, like reception place, was like, put the phone number in, and then opened up his file and was like, oh, Logan, we know Logan. He's got like an extensive file here. He's got a case officer. And so she's like, oh, I'll call the case officer. So there's like a policeman assigned to this like fucker. And then the policeman who's like his case officer just makes it all okay. And then she gets the money back, and we don't die, and it all worked out.
Wait, so the police actually did something, or did you not hear anything about the case?
Yeah. No, the police, like, forced Logan to, like, make it better. It was really good.
It's like, listen here, Logan. I
fuck
just
you,
won your
Logan,
$20.
if you're watching this.
Yeah. She just wants it back,
fuck you, Logan.
There's going to be some people upset about you saying that anyway.
Yeah, not
Not all of them.
Just happen to be called Logan.
Yes.
We don't mean you. We mean if you are scamming people on any kind of online selling place, you should feel bad. You're a bad person. You're not making the world better. You're making it slightly worse. Do something that makes it better. Grow some food or something and sell the food. Grow weed. We don't care. But do something that makes society slightly better.
Sounds like we're talking about Logan Paul.
Real weed.
Dude, legitimately, absolutely scammed his fans, Fucking Logan Paul, man. That's just popped into my head. That's a perfect analogy.
I guess don't trust anyone named Logan. Is that a takeaway from this?
Yeah, that's fair.
So I actually want to ask Bovis, because we're kind of like hitting the end of the podcast now. We're getting over an hour actually now.
Little old
Bovis, little old you. Do you have any questions for Twice? Like, not just the scamming part, but also, about the boat. If there's any, loose ends you would like to have answered.
Kind of, but I got a question for both of you, because it popped into my head when I came out of the bathroom. Do you wash your hands after you piss every time?
Always, yes.
Always?
Yeah, mostly.
Yes.
Mostly. Unless it's
what
like in
I
a
hate?
forest or something, like.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. No, you know what I hate? I go to the toilet at my office, right? I'm gonna throw people under the bus probably. And I always wash my hands. And when I notice there's like a little pump, you need some soap to wash your hands. That would be very nice. What people sometimes do also to put water into the soap bottle to save, a few squirts. Don't do that, but I fucking just get some soap. It's not expensive. But the problem is, if that shit's empty and I see people going to the toilet and going out, it's like, okay, you He didn't wash his hands. And didn't go to like the sink or whatever.
How did you do it?
Yeah. Or just, if you want to know if people wash their hands, just take away, the soap and then let them go to the toilet. And then if they, don't actually wash their hands like properly, then Then you probably know. No, but that shit just hates me.
Because he's still in the fucking soap, mate. What do you mean? That's why they're not washing their hands.
Well, then they would wash it in the sink or whatever, like in the kitchen, or just complain. It's like, well, who the fuck stole the soap? No one complains about it. Or like the soap is empty. I'm usually the one that fills it up. It's like, what the fuck? Is no one else washing their hands? But that seems to be like a very low percentage.
Sounds like you've been the one stealing the fucking soap.
No.
What do you mean?
I'm using it. What do you mean? I'm not stealing.
The soap bandit, huh?
Yes.
I made this really bad mistake once at a nightclub where it was like a rock club, quite big, busy, and there was like a bathroom situation going on, and but it was dark, you couldn't really super see very clearly, and there was a lot of people needing to go to the bathroom, but it was quite big. It was like this big square room, and all of it was those urinals up against the wall.
Mm-hmm.
But they were all taken. So I get in and I'm like, scan. I'm like, none of them are free. And then I see in the middle of the room, there is like, I've never seen this kind of thing before, but it's like a fountain kind of shape. And I look at it and my confused drunk ass brain is like, oh, it's a group central urinal that we can all like pee in together. From all of the directions. And so I go up to, I'm like, I've never seen this before, but this is a really good idea. And I go there and I'm like, the first thing that should have warned me was like, well, aside from them being taps, but the first thing that I noticed was I was like, it's a little high. Yeah, a little high,
fucking knew it.
But I'm still peeing. Then the thing that saved me was like a guy comes beside me and copies me and is also peeing. And then another guy comes from this side and he starts washing his hands in the sink. And so I'm like, oh. So both of us realize that this guy is using the taps to make himself clean, and we both have our dicks out and we're making it dirty. Like, so our streams are going here, and we make eye contact with this guy, and he's just like, and we're like, yeah. And then we just scamper away into the darkness. But it worked. Like, they shouldn't make it so confusing.
What the fuck? I never confused that shit, man. What the hell?
No, it was like a sink, but it was like a big circle with like a thing in the middle. So it was like a trough, but like round.
I don't know. It sounds like you were very drunk.
Look, it worked. Everyone got what they wanted. We didn't pee on his hands. Yeah. Okay, that's fine. Good.
No, probably if I would see that as like, bro, you need to lay down, bro. You need to stop the alcohol, man. It's not your urinal. This is a sink. No, that's that. Is that your question, by the way, Bovis? To ask us if we wash our hands?
I don't know if I have any nautical related questions. Have you ever been on the one either recreated the Titanic scene on the front of your boat, or tried to? Like,
yeah, you must have, right? Everyone does that. Everyone who comes on board is like, they go to the front and they're like, oh, Jack, hold me. Like, you got to put a little sign up that says, okay, don't stop doing that. Stop that. Stop it.
It's not original, guys.
Are you allowed to have a pirate flag? Do you know, it's the thing.
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, that'd be sick. You should get a pirate flag, dude. That'd be awesome.
I have the laser kiwi flag. There was like a referendum here about like, ooh, should we change the national flag? And it was open to the public, so everyone could submit their crazy ideas. And there's like maybe 4 or 5 meme flags that people still hold close to their heart. Like the laser kiwi one is like one of the high contenders, and it's still flowing. Like I'm not the only boat that flies this flag. It's like I even found it on an island. Cool, I went to this little island, and there was like a flagpole with this like kiwi with like laser beams coming out of its eyes and like a fern. It's like, yeah, man, that should be the flag. That's the real flag.
Next up is the moon. Hell yeah. Anyway, any other questions, Bovis? Like what you said, like actual
No,
related
that was-
to his story or whatever, not just a random one. Well, you could actually. I don't mind.
They were pretty related. What do you mean? It was kind of related.
Yes. Does your bow have a sink? Does it look like a urinal? What about
Easily
5
confused.
beers in?
Do you prefer liquid soap or cube soap?
Liquid soap, 100%. Screw those cubes.
Wait,
A little
cubes?
bar. That's what.
Oh, the bar is so okay. Yeah.
Like a bar. Or
Yeah,
soap.
they
Sorry, I
slide
don't know if
around.
it's a cube. I was.
I hate when you put it down and then it just goes on this little journey all on its own. Is like flip. It's like, well, that's just dumb. Like what?
Yeah, especially if in the shower.
Can like
That's
use it like a tech deck. You know, like a little skateboard. You know, just go like down, stick tricks.
Yeah.
Fucking awesome.
Yeah.
I think those are all my questions, to be honest.
all right. No, that's good. Those are, well, I think you've asked this question before somewhere. I'm not sure. It might be an event, might be another podcast. I don't remember. Anyway.
I might have had the piss question before, yeah.
Yeah. It's very important to know. It's to get to know your best friends, your allies or your foes.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to shake their hands or not, it's very important information.
Ooh, I got another one.
Yeah, go ahead.
How long did you live in the UK for?
Like 16 years, 17 years.
Oh, okay, fair enough. So, okay, what's your go-to meal deal, bro?
Meal deal. Like in Wetherspoons.
No. If you go to like Tesco's or Sainsbury's, you get like a sandwich, a drink, and like a packet of crisps, or like or like
I
some
like
fruit
the
or
egg.
something.
The egg, like with the cress. Like it's
Oh,
an
dude,
egg
that's
sandwich.
egg. Yeah, it's an egg and cress.
Yeah.
I was good. That's my favorite.
And then
my
like
go-to.
the orange
go-to.
juice.
Mm-hmm,
And then now like a coffee, if I can get egg, orange juice, and coffee, then I'm like happy.
Oranges and coffee. That's great.
Actually,
two
so I
drinks, two
used to work-
beverages.
For a short while, I worked in Asda, and I was curious about their
Yeah.
like returns policy because they like drill this in. It was just when Walmart bought Asda, so they were like drilling all this like nonsense into us.
Yeah.
And they were like, the returns policy is if someone wants to return it, you just say it's fine. Then you return it. And I was like, that's interesting information. So I quit. And then I started like, because they told me the story of this guy who would come into the canteen, order a bunch of food, and then be like, I didn't like it. I want a refund. And he'd do this like every 2 weeks for his like big meal out or something. And they knew him and they were like, it's you again. All right, here's your refund because that's what we have to do. And I was like, well, I wonder how far I can push this because at the time I was running my car on like cooking oil. So I had to buy a lot of like, you know, the big vegetable oil things. And it was kind of a lot of money. So one time I like filled up the entire trolley with like maybe 300 pounds worth of like vegetable oil. And then I bring all these empty cartons back. I'm like, you know, I wasn't entirely satisfied with the vegetable oil. And they freak the fuck out because they on their receipt it's like a refund and replacement guarantee. And I was like, I want a refund and I want another cart of vegetable oil because I didn't say this, but I was like, because my car is empty at the moment. And they got the manager of the store down to talk to me, and he like gave me a shitty compromise of like, okay, we'll refund half of it and you won't get a replacement. And I was like, but it says right here on the receipt that I'll get a refund and replacement. He's like, no. Blah, blah, blah. So Asda, I'm going to sue you for not honoring
Fuck you, Asda too.
Yeah, fuck you, Asda.
Ah, yes, let's throw
Wasn't
one
even
under the
good
bus.
for the car.
I bet the fucking CEO's called Logan as well. Bastard.
Yeah, he was fucking called Logan. Fucking...
Fuck him.
That's a good takeaway from the podcast. Yeah, to not trust Logan. Just call him an asshole. I guess that
Don't
works.
trust Logan.
Yeah.
I think it's fair. I don't know any nice Logans. I only know scammers.
You know, if we could
I don't know any
convince
Logans, yeah.
everyone in the world to stop naming their child Logan, then, you know, we got rid of this problem.
That'd be reasonable. Yeah.
But then it'll be another name, you know. It's a never-ending cycle, you know. It's someone else. Maybe the Pauls will get
It
it
would-
next. Maybe the James, who knows?
It would work for
True.
like 20 years, though. That'd be like 20 golden years of Logan free.
Exactly. Well, actually, I want to start wrapping up the podcast because this is kind of getting into a ramble about food and nothing. No, just kidding. No, I want to talk about the kind of the elephant in the room. Maybe I'm not sure. So it's the release day of this podcast, which I don't know when this will be released. When I have the time, of course. But this is technically season 2 of the podcast. And my idea with season 2, and also ask the
Premiere.
guests for... Yeah, premiere. Yeah, exactly. I'll ask the guests also for some feedback on this. Is I'm trying to focus it more on specific topics or like something that someone is known for. Not specifically just introducing guests, although we have done that here. That's good. But to not rehash the same questions each time in the beginning of the podcast. So I'm trying to steer away from that, get a bit more in-depth topics of interesting guests. And I actually have 2 guests in the running, which I still want to do after this. And you guys probably don't know. One is Bunny, actually. Who's been in a Welcome to VR Chat video before. It's a German guy who's very drunk, and he actually got his life together. Allegedly, he says.
Cheers.
But it's like...
Cheers, Bunny.
No.
Cheers to Bunny. No, so basically it's like a raging alcoholic. There's like puking on VR chat and everything. Like there's video evidence of this. And he like turned his life around. And it's very interesting to see like what got him into that decision, how other people could maybe get in the place, because he's not drinking anymore, I think. At least I don't think so, as far as we know. So it's like an interesting story, like a turnaround story, how that came to be. That's another episode. And I also have another person, which is Lady Who, which Bovis, you should know. Old friend of ours.
I know both, yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, exactly. It's Lady Who. No,
Sorry, I'll mute my mic.
It's fine. No, so this Lady Who actually was, or still is, in I think it's like a stand-up club or something like that, like a stand-up community in VR chat. So it's like it's open mic, yeah. It's open mic night. There's like a map in VR chat, and there's like a small community or big community. Actually, I don't know. And they do like stand-up, they do improvisation for music and all these kind of things. And it's very interesting to see then what that community is like, how people got into the community and all these kind of sort of things. So these are like more, topical things or subjects to go into that this person is involved in, like communities or a special occasion, like you live on a boat, or some kind of life event that people can talk about, maybe learn from. That's kind of the more like the take I want to continue with, at least season 2, until however long the season gets to be. Thoughts?
That sounds like a great idea, Scope. It sounds like you can clickbait the videos more as well. That's what you want, man. That's what you want.
I don't want to clickbait the videos, but also, to be fair,
Why
about
not?
the videos...
Why not?
I fucking hate that shit. No, what I do want to do, though, with the titles is at least make them a bit more simple. So before I would include the names of the guests in the title, I'll still include the names in the description, of course, so people can search on that. But the title of the video or the episode will just be based on whatever the main topic is that was discussed during the episode.
Exactly, the clickbait title. Let's fucking go.
Yeah, it's like scammed on a boat or something, and then like a fucking O
not
phase.
and like say that word.
Yes.
That's how YouTube works, man. You just gotta go with it, right?
I hate that shit, man. I don't want to be part of that community. And then put on like a shitty O face, like and then put it like zoomed in, slight tilted angle in the video. It's like, who could have done this? It's like, no, it looks stupid, man. I'm not following this trend. As per usual, I don't follow.
Get the shot. Get the
shot. Yeah. Do the O face.
Wait.
I don't have an O face.
I don't actually do it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm gonna put that in.
This one.
Wait, do it again. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Like, and then scammed on a bow, like on top of it or something.
Doing the O face in real life?
Yeah, there we go. We got it, boys.
Doesn't help.
We got it. I'll see. I'll see both what I can do. But no, that's like the main thing, or like focus on a topic is like actual interesting stories, people, communities, things to talk about. So less just introducing people, because it's kind of, I was introducing people in the last season that took like 45 minutes to get to like actual non-introduction things. So that's not, I don't want to go that route again. So that's why I want to change it. Another thing is the schedule will change as well. So I will upload whenever I have the time, because, you know, things in life happen and things are busy. Not like before I was able to post like every 2 weeks, like steadily, literally every 2 weeks. I didn't think I skipped a single week, even during like New Year's or Christmas time. So I can do it. I can post on the schedule, but I'd rather now, with the limited time I have, to just do it when I have the time and when people are available, like Twice, who has been a nice guest to actually be online in a while. Because can you tell me what took you some inside baseball? What took you so long to actually, you know, get on the podcast? Because if I asked you before, I think like a couple months now, 2 months, whatever.
Well,
time to
like,
throw
so
you
my,
on
my time zone is like fucked. Like compared to like everywhere else
Europe.
that's populated on the world, it's like yeah, it's like for me to get on is like never the time that I'm actually on. I have to kind of drink in the morning on like a Sunday to catch people like having a weekend or something like that.
Mm-hmm. So why are you on now then? Because now it's 2:30 a.m. here in the Netherlands.
It just happened to be free. I didn't have any plans going on this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of bad weather.
That is true, yeah. Bad weather everywhere. Yeah, that makes sense. No, for me, it was just I need to have a weekend off, basically, or time available for that. And this weekend I had, and also Bovis had some free time as well, so that's very nice.
I have a lot of free time. Woo!
Wait, why do you have a lot of free time? You do work, right?
Yeah, well, I've recently started working the last few weeks. Admittedly, I took today off because I just didn't want to go in, but...
Okay. Interesting.
I shouldn't make that. I say I shouldn't make that a habit. It's kind of already is a habit, but you know, they're still paying me.
Even if you take.
Haven't been sacked yet.
Oh well, that's good.
Well, what you tell them it's a sick day. You see, this is the beauty. I have a chronic condition. It doesn't really affect me at all, but I can always blame shit on that, and it's fine.
What? Wait, what?
Don't try this at home, kids.
I feel, don't tell your boss this, I guess. Don't send this video. But like, wait, what is your chronic condition?
Oh, yeah, it's called Crohn's disease. So it's like an inflammation in the bowel. So it did fuck me up for a while, to be fair, but I'm absolutely fine now.
That's a real disease. So
I'm not chatting shit. No, this is genuine. It's like the condition's real, and it's semi-common. So people kind of, you get the thing of like, oh, I know about that. That's pretty bad. You know, that's usually the response about it.
Yeah, it's got the word disease at the end of it.
Yeah. So all you do is just like, just all you got to say is the magic words. I'm flaring up. I'm really not feeling the best today. I'm sorry, I can't make it in. What they're gonna do? What they're gonna fucking do? Tell me I'm lying?
Send their doctor to check on you. Well, actually, they did that back in the day. They don't do that anymore because of people that they need for that.
Google, how do I get Crohn's disease?
It's genetic, unfortunately.
According to Pandas, the exact cause of Crohn's disease is unknown. It occurs when your body's immune system mistakenly attacks and destroys healthy body tissue.
Yeah.
So it's autoimmune. Yeah.
An autoimmune.
Wow.
Take some vitamin D.
I like to call it B-Tech AIDS.
Okay.
It's a less glamorous term.
I feel like we've given.
Do you know what a B-Tech is, Scope? It's like.
No, I do not.
It's like a normal qualification, but it's like if you couldn't quite get like the general, like say like an English grade or like a maths grade, You go for a B Tech, which was kind of just like it's just about that, but it's kind of like if you're not quite that good at it. I mean,
it's like the Wish version of like okay.
Yeah, the Wish version, yeah.
Gets the job done.
Wish AIDS.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know what kind of job it will get done anyway, but yeah. I think we've given some legitimate advice in this podcast, but also some weird things that you should probably not do, like I don't know, like drugs, drinking, lying about sick days. I don't know.
Yeah, this is a wholesome Christian podcast.
Yeah, definitely.
If you don't like your job and you have a medical condition, abuse it. Make him fucking just take as many days off as you want. Fuck yeah, man. I don't know. Do what you want and fuck the corporation.
So which place do you work again, Bovis? Do you have an address? Could you link it to me after the podcast? I'll be very interested to learn more about your job. Nah, just kidding.
The bad part is it's a charity, but the management's terrible, so I hate them.
Wait, what?
Wait.
What? You just made it 10 times worse.
Well, it's a charity job, but it's just that the management's awful. They're not good, and they're not doing good for the bloody charity. So I kind of just take the time off as well. And this is kind of it's an in between job. So I'm not really. If I was invested in like really improving this charity, maybe. But
what's the charity trying to do?
Protect canals, weirdly. So it's protect the canals in the UK and protect the boat.
I found the perfect match for two guests. Unrelated, but they are related.
I used to have a narrowboat.
Yeah. So it's literally just where the narrowboats go down, all that. Yeah.
Oh shit!
Pretty chill narrowboats.
Yeah, it's pretty good. They're also really cheap. You can get if you go north, you can get a really cheap narrowboat. My plan was I was gonna buy it and then bring it down to London and then live in it in London. But I thought that would take like a week, maybe 2 weeks. I don't know. And there's like boat sat nav for narrowboats, and it was like, you're gonna have to go through 1,432 locks, and it's gonna take you about 6 months. And I was like, whoa, I underestimated this. Holy shit. But I was still like, no way, this thing's probably for old people, whatever. I tried to go, and then you go along, and just a bunch of bullshit gets in your way. Like you'll get to a lock, and they'll be locked, like with a key. So you have to wait, and there's a sign.
By the Wisco.
Mm-hmm.
I
figured.
So you get there, you're basically going through this like bullshit museum that for some reason they're keeping going, and like everything gets in your way, and you just want to go, and they're like, nope, this lock is special, you need the special key from this old man, and he only works on Wednesday, so you gotta wait here for half a week until it's Wednesday, and then maybe he's gonna show up, and he'll maybe unlock the thing, and then you get to another one, and it's like, oh, well, this one you get to do yourself, so you don't have to wait for this old guy, but you got to use your own key that you've bought from the Canal and River Trust, and then you unlock this thing, and then suddenly you have to push the button, and this whole like double lane road that's like a major infrastructure component lifts up on some hydraulics and like rotates around. But there's only one of you, and as soon as you stop pressing the button, it starts going back because it thinks you're not there anymore. So you have to somehow move your boat under it and push the button at the same time. But there's only one of you, and it's like a stupid. It's like a fucking puzzle.
If you're boating solo, it's miserable. I don't know what you can't fucking do it. It's just not a viable thing.
You have to get random members of the public and be like, "Excuse me, I am in a really stupid situation right now. Can you just push and hold this button, and then when you're done, can you take the key out and throw it like at me on the water, and I'll try and catch it?" And they're like, "Oh, okay, sure."
See, I'm a fundraiser, so I have to fundraise to protect these canals, and half the time it is basically boaters complaining to me about this exact thing. And I'm like, they're talking to me, and I know they're not going to give me any money. I know they're not going to give me any money at all, and I'm like, listen, I appreciate it. I can't do fuck all about this. Let me do my like, cool.
So basically,
you get the poor old lady trying to go through one of the locks and like needs help, and I'm like, oh my god.
So basically, this is just like a situation you have at work. We just recreated it here on the podcast, unwillingly, unknowingly. These people are related. Twice is it's just complaining, and then Bovis is actually trying to help the situation, but can't because he is in a sick day.
I flooded. You know, Leeds. I flooded it by accident a little bit. I think. So what was happening is I just bought the thing. I'd gone down the big one, then I had to wait for all the people. Then I got to this other one. Eventually, I was almost in the Leeds city center area, which is where I was excited to get to. And there was a flight of 3 locks all together, and there was no it let me do it. And it's tricky because this is a tangent, but you've got to fill the middle chamber half full. The bottom one's got to be full. The top one's got to be empty. And if you don't do that right, your boat's gonna get fucked or something. And so there's this long sign written in Old English that's like, fill the middle section using the third flapper to the green mark. So I look in this lock. It's like a big lock that's full of these old rocks. And it's all covered in green slime. And I'm like, oh, to the green marker in the green fucking slime, you idiots. And so I'm trying as best I can to follow these bullshit instructions and get to the non-existent green marker and just eyeballing it 50%. But it won't get up. It goes to 1/3 maybe, or 1/4, and it won't fill to halfway full. And I'm like, you motherfucker. So I'm opening more paddles and sluicing the sluices, and it's quite a big area, so I don't really understand what's going wrong. And then I'm like, well, I've looked all here, and maybe there's another bit down here that I haven't seen. So I go all the way to the lower lock and realize that it has a hidden little one that's draining everything, and I'm like, fuck. And then I see there's people trying to go on just about their lives, walking their dogs, but they're having to climb onto a fence and shimmy along the fence because the water level is so high down there that it's flooded everything. I'm like, oh no, I feel like I might be partially responsible. Yes, so that was totally freaking me because it was like that for an hour while I was filling this bullshit. I eventually get my boat down. I go into the city center, and it's all flooded, and there wasn't another lock, so I flooded it a little bit, I think.
Wait, so how does someone just have access to these kind of things that could just flood parts of a city or a canal, whatever, and not be supervised?
You get the key. You get the canal. Yeah, you get the key, but it comes in the boat. So I bought the boat for £3,000, which is not that much money for a whole 45-foot about to sink chunk of metal with a little engine on the back. And I was like, I have no fucking idea what I'm doing, but I've got this key and these little lock tools, and then suddenly you're in a museum and you're doing all this museum shit. There's other random passers-by stop and watch you because they're like, ooh, it's the olden days. Suddenly this guy's trying to get his quite suspiciously rusty looking boat down this flight of locks, and he doesn't really know what he's doing. Maybe he's got a key. Probably he knows what he's doing.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Is why is it unsupervised? Shouldn't there be someone to help you if you don't know what the fuck you're doing?
Oh, there should be. They have volunteers that do it. You don't get fucking paid for it. There's occasionally you'll have retiree pensioners that might come in on a weekend and help out. That's all you get. They're not going to help you more than that.
Is it also something that you're helping out with, Bovis?
I'm not supposed to. They've told me, because I basically stand along these canals where people would walk their dogs and I fundraise for them, so I try and stop them. So legally, they say don't help any of the boaters or the lock stuff, because if you fuck it up, then you could be liable. I'm like, well, I don't really give a shit about that. And, if somebody needs help, I'm like, whatever, sure, I'll help them. Because some of them, they need it. They literally will need it. And I'm like, yeah, sure. Well, I have to figure it out with them because I barely know how they fucking work, to be honest. They are weird. Half of them.
You can't learn it. The thing is, you feel like you're, oh, I'm getting it. I've learned. I saw those guys in the last one. You get to the next one, and it's like it's all made like hundreds of years ago. So they're just like random. It's whatever that like village did to. So you never fully understand what the fuck's going on. They kind of follow a similar pattern a little bit, but it's like, oh my god, what is this?
Like, some of them are electric, some of them are manual.
yeah. There's the one in Scotland that's like this huge like wheel elevator thing that just like lifts up a whole slab of water and puts it like way up, and then you've got to move your boat onto this like aqueduct bullshit. It's like, what?
Sounds like we need to standardize some stuff in, the water areas.
Oh yeah, we did. It's called trucks. We use trucks now. Fuck the freaking canals. Fuck them.
Well, that's something I didn't expect to learn, but that's an interesting trivia, I guess. Yeah. Find it funny.
They're good.
You're a supporter. Yeah.
I wouldn't say they're good. It's like. No, it's pretty fun.
For me, it's 2,000, because 2,000 miles of habitat is what the Canal Driven Trust have. 2,000 miles for me of like an actual protected zone. I like it for the wildlife side because it's a protected wildlife area. It's like it actually lets fish and birds and all sorts thrive and creates a nice cycle there. So that's why I do it. I'm gonna be honest, I couldn't give a shit about the old boaters, but whatever.
You should
they seem to be enjoying life.
You should get a canal boat, like a cheap one, and just be like, all right, into the abyss of unknown we go.
My colleagues do that, actually. It's pretty awesome.
All right. Well, I think the conversation got flowing, pretty well this episode, but I would have to put an end to it because we are going over quite a while and I still need to edit everything and I don't want to edit forever to get this out. Anyway, so I would like to ask the guests for any final thoughts towards the audience about the episode or whatever, their final words before we put a cap on this episode. So I'm going to start
I want to see this season. I want to see you record a whole episode, but in a public black cat.
I have thought about the idea before, so I cannot do it live for obvious reasons because there's going to be people yelling everything top of the sun. I could technically, like if it's an empty black cat or like a public, but it's like died down for a long time, I could do that. It's just not. I don't think it's gonna work well. I would like I would like to try this actually, because I've thought about this before, like multiple times, but it would be like an extravaganza episode. So I'd just be like, okay, guys, I'm going to start podcasting here. I need something or like a prop or something to indicate like this is we're recording a podcast or something. I don't know.
We can hold cameras.
Yeah, exactly. That would be funny if you have like an avatar with a camera and like a microphone or a boom pole, and then it's like, okay, we have like a little studio in front of the mirror there or at a table. That would be fun. I would like to try it. I'm not saying it's going to be an actual episode. It will be a fun idea, to try and see if we can get any actual fun content out of it. But it'll be heavily dependent on whoever's going to join the instance, whoever's, being able to speak normally. Because it's just going to be, I don't know, like a bunch of kids and random people. They're just going to be annoyed or try and bomb the podcast anyway. It's like, well, guys, it's not live. So I can just cut this out. But I've thought about that, so I might do that at some point. Don't quote me on it.
You could maybe have like the person who's doing the sound part of the recording be not you, and they're just like on desktop or something, and then they could be like going through and like turning people down and doing all that bullshit to like make the audio good. You need like a sound person, I think, to be able to do it.
Well, you could do the VRChat thing where it's just like a small radius. It's like, okay, you can stand next to me, then I can hear you.
Oh, yeah,
because otherwise,
you're
mute out everyone else. Yep, pretty much. Any final words for the audience on this episode? Twice.
Be good to each other. Value real connections, because the world is getting so crazy with like artificial stuff. We need
virtual reality.
When you find like a real Yeah. Well, bad medium to explain this, but remember that like coming together and telling stories to one another around something, normally a campfire or whatever you can use.
A camera.
Our species has done this for like millions of years. We're very good at getting together and sharing stories around something and like making little communities. Cling to that. We need to like for the next 20 years, 30 years, we're going to need that more than we have ever needed that.
No, so I do actually agree with that twice, because I had a conversation, for example, with colleagues today at the office, and just being in a small circle of friends, like a small community of like, good colleagues, friends, basically at the office, talking about everything in life and about work and about giving people advice, because that's the whole thing of like why we write books and stories is to share certain knowledge or like give certain advice to people for, the people that might read it, the next generation or whatever. It's part of the reason why I do the podcast, is to have people also learn about stuff like how to make sure your character is moving with perfect tracking. That's something I don't teach anyway. But yeah, I do agree. That's a good way at least to end your section. So Bovis, you're going to take then the last words before I close off the podcast. Anything you want to say?
Oh, I'll keep it wholesome as well, and I'll keep it wholesome. Every single person you talk to, they're a human being, and they have reasons behind their actions. So always remember that before making rash decisions.
Mm-hmm. Short and sweet. I like it. All right, that's actually really good advice. Very well, guys. So, oh fuck, God. Okay, my controller is just drifting into the wind. Like your sailboat. Anyway, so with that, I actually would like to then close off the podcast. So I would like to thank the listeners for sticking around to the end of the podcast. This episode will be released, I don't know when. The next episode will be whenever I have time. I cannot promise anything, to be fair. I cannot promise anything anymore. But, send me a message if you're like, I feel lonely. I want to listen to people talk about being scammed and being on a boat and taking drugs, and I don't know. That's fine.
Hey, we barely talked about taking drugs.
Just been beginning.
Barely.
Well, or like getting drugs, buying it.
Okay, fair enough.
All right. So with that, I would like to thank the audience for sticking around and listening to the podcast. I would also like to thank our guests, so Twice and Bovis. It was pointing at me very menacingly. All right. And as for the next episode, we'll have to see when that comes out. So when I have the time, I will release another episode. Maybe ask me for an update if you want. But I think we've gone quite a while now. So my tracking is dying. It's getting really late. I need to sleep. And you guys also probably need to sleep. Well, Bovis probably. Twice, probably not.
It's midday here.
Yeah, exactly. No, you should be good.
I have work in the morning.
Just call in sick again. You could do that, I guess. I don't know. Don't do that. Don't call in sick
I shouldn't have done it today. I need the money.
Yeah.
I'm calling in sick on Sunday because I'm going to be hungover. I'm drinking tomorrow. Or today.
Oh my God. Yeah.
God.
Don't lie. That's my advice for the audience. Don't lie about your diseases or why you take a day off. Anyway.
I'm not lying about my disease.
Well, the effect.
It's real.
Yeah. Well, it's real. But you're not hurting actively from it to take a day off. Anyway, at least I don't think you do. Anyway, so with that, I would like to thank the audience again, and I would like to see you then in the next episode. So until then, peace out.
Bye. Thanks for watching. It's been really good. Although from our point of view, we've just been.
It sounds like you're being interrogated.
Room, but like.
It does.
I don't know what to say. What do I say?
And we'll just go to there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't worry. I'm being treated really well. They promised some snacks, and they said if I if I didn't feel safe, I just had to run for the exit, and I might make it there alive.
Maybe. Who knows?
Maybe.
Well, luckily we don't have to kill him, guys, because it's the end of the podcast. Anyway, say goodbyes.
Hey.
Or else.
Bye.
I'm so tired.
I have not done this in a while. I'm a bit
It's
rusty, guys, but you know we're gonna start. So when I say the welcome, then we start basically. So you guys just keep doing that.
We didn't already start.
Are you ready?
Ready.
Oh, my
ready.
arm's fucked. I think I'm ready.
Arms
My
are
tracking's
fucked.
only a little bit off. It's fine.
It's same, bro.
Fine.
Same, man. It's
Hang on.
fine. Yeah. It's gonna be amazing. Oh, hold on. I fucking I moved and I don't know.
Wow, you fucked up his whole speech, man. You fumbled him. He was so good.
No,
He
no,
took
no,
your
no, no.
whole
I got
message
that.
and
I
he
got that
fucked it
part.
up,
I got
so
no. I
wow.
got that part. No, shut the fuck. I got that part. Don't worry. Anyway, so I'd like to then close off the podcast. So thank you all for listening. I hope to see you in. God fucking damn it, man. Oh, the tracking. I cannot even move. Oh, there we go. Okay, just say your
Bye.
goodbyes and wave.
Thanks for watching us for an hour. I can't
Someone
believe
else
you
is
did that.
watching us.
A little bit.
No, maybe do a real ending, guys. An appropriate ending.
Ba 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 ba.
Yeah, that's fine.
Ba, ba, ba.
You can make dog noises. Yeah, that's fine.
Is that?
Yeah, that's fine. That's good. That's good, actually. Okay, so Bovis,
It worked.
make your dog noise.
Okay, so we're good for dog of wisdom.
Well, I need Bovis to talk. He's not talking. He has his mic muted.
You don't hear him?
Either or he's fucking with me. You're both fucking with me. This is how we do comedy. Is we sabotage.
Is this what you want, huh?
A little
Come
bit.
again.
Meow.
Okay, so I need to up you a bit, Bovis. Don't
Yeah.
change anything
That was-
yourself.
You're gonna
Quiet,
regret
let
doing
me
that,
know.
buddy. You're gonna fucking regret up me.